We're not even a full month into 2019, and pretty much every single brand at this point has either put out a new model and or new colorways, which is why I've been getting a ton of questions asking me what my current favorites are. Have they changed from what I've talked about before? And the answer to that question is yes. Some of them. So what I want to do in today's video is share with you my top 5 personal favorite new, emphasis on new, football boots of 2019. And really my criteria for this list was not anything too crazy. I kind of just wanted to be honest with you guys and share my personal favorite top 5s of the newer releases, which I honestly have been wearing. So stuff that's older, and by older I mean boots that haven't come out in the last 6 months, like Nike Mercurials, either the Vapor or Superfly, even the Tiempo Legend 7. Those are all boots that I really do like, but haven't been wearing a lot as of late. So if a boot that you really like and perhaps even own is not on this list, that does not mean it's bad. It just means that it's not one of my personal top 5 favorites. And if you do have a difference of opinion on what you think the top 5 boots of 2019 are, feel free to leave your picks down below in the comment section. I'd also like to mention that if you're interested in any of the latest boots for 2019, you can click the little pop-up in the corner of the screen or the first link down below. That's going to take you to the new releases page on my website, where you'll find individual buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes. You'll be able to pick up just about everything below its normal retail price. And with all that out of the way, in no particular order, here's my top 5. I'm really not a big fan of saying that one specific boot is my personal favorite, but I could definitely make the argument for the Phantom Vision Elite from Nike being that boot. This is a boot that I just feel super comfortable in the second that I put them on. And that for me is very important when it comes to playing in boots that I don't always play in just because I'm testing out new products all the time. I don't want to have to re-break them in. And this is one of those boots with the combination of the Flyknit upper and the internal quad fit system that just feels extremely natural and well worn in the second that you put them on, regardless of whether or not you've been wearing them consistently. It really is the most sock-like sensation you'll get from any pair of football boots. They fit snug without squeezing your feet, which is something that I'm a really big fan of and kind of a characteristic of a more traditional leather football boot, but with the responsiveness you would expect from a brand new top-of-the-line football boot in 2019. I'm also a really big fan of the added texturing that you have across the entire upper, especially in this triangle area, and the sole plate and stud pattern isn't too bad either. Not the most aggressive traction on offer from Nike right now, but it definitely gets the job done. Definitely doesn't hurt that the boots are actually quite light, and really my only gripe with the Phantom Vision is now that it's been out for a little while, now that I've seen it in multiple colorways, I just don't think it's the most attractive boot. I quite frankly kind of think it's a little bit ugly. So there's that, but that doesn't really matter that much to me based on how good they feel. The Puma Future 19.1 Low is a boot that I have been very, very happy with. I was a big fan of the Puma Future since day one, and this is really the first major evolution we've seen for the Future line. And really, I think they made all of the right choices as far as what they changed and what they maintained as being exactly the same, which is the sole plate and stud pattern. Big fan of this setup, and the fact that it's FGAG also is really nice. The upper, however, obviously eliminates the net while still maintaining a net fit system, which I realize doesn't make a lot of sense, but they've effectively maintained the same system while eliminating basically 4 or 5 layers of material. You're now left with a knitted top layer and an internal mesh liner, and that's it. It's a little bit of a firmer upper in comparison to past Puma Futures, but it's also more streamlined and a little bit less bulky as well. And as a whole, I just find the boots, once broken in, to be tremendously comfortable. I love the idea of the net fit system that allows you to create your own custom setup to really achieve proper lockdown and a comfortable fit. And I just think that the low cut variation is the one to go for over the mid. As great as the mid is, I just find this to be a little bit more comfortable. And for 200 bucks, it's technically the cheapest boot on this list and definitely a really good value for money considering how expensive top end boots are getting these days. No, your eyes are not deceiving you. I have a laceless boot in my personal top 5, and that is the Adidas Copa 19 Plus. This is a boot that has really surprised me, and objectively, it's probably the worst performing boot on this list, if I'm being perfectly honest with you guys. The laceless system still has its flaws in regards to overall responsiveness, lockdown, and the quality of the fit. But given that they fit you properly, and these do seem to match the shape of my foot pretty well, you will have a positive experience from them. Just don't expect the responsiveness and lockdown feel that you'd get from something like a Nike Tiempo Legend 7 Elite, which I would argue is objectively a better performing product. But the experience of the Copa 19 Plus is unlike anything else that I've ever tried, which is why I think I like wearing them so much. The kangaroo leather is super soft and super thin, really does feel like you're wearing a leather sock, which is a cool experience. Then the combination of the fusion skin with the prime knit just works really well. You don't necessarily feel too harsh of a transition. And again, given that they fit you properly, it's a very, very comfortable boot. You could argue that the sole plate and stud pattern is nothing special, which it isn't, but it's kind of the same general layout you'll find across the entire Adidas brand. And as a whole, the unique experience is to me what makes this boot special. The Phantom Venom is a boot that Nike has teased us with for a very long time, but sure enough, at the start of 2019, we finally have it. And for the most part, I would say that it has not disappointed. It's just not exactly what I was expecting. But now that I've had the chance to try them, I can honestly say that if power boots are going to exist in 2019, this is pretty much the only one of its kind at the moment. This is how it needs to be. The boot is light, the boot is relatively thin, it doesn't have any bulk to it, but it still maintains the extra grip and a striking element that we all miss from the old T90 series and the Predator series from Adidas. It's not really like those boots at all in regards to how it feels, but I can appreciate what they've done here while still, I guess, maintaining what is expected from a modern day football boot in 2019. The traction is aggressive, the sole plate feels solid, the responsiveness is really good with the Flyknit upper and the Flywire cables, and the extra grip is something that you just can't get from any other pair of football boots right now. Is the striking element super noticeable? I wouldn't really argue that's the case. It certainly doesn't have the same feel as a more traditional rubber element like we've seen on past T90 models, but as a whole, it's still a unique experience, and honestly, I can't say that there's anything else out there that feels quite like the Phantom Venom. Which brings us to the final boot on this list that you probably weren't expecting, and that is the new Balance Tekela 1.0 Pro. This is the oldest boot on this list, but the one that I have continued to play in when not testing out other products, simply because I just love the way that they feel. It is an extremely comfortable pair of boots that legitimately requires no break-in time whatsoever. If you need me to wear football boots all day, this is probably the pair that I'm gonna go for, simply based on pure comfort. In terms of objective performance, you could make an argument that it is the least objectively good performing boot on this list, in that it's not overly responsive. It does have kind of a slightly too wide fit, I would argue, and the stud pattern is not overly aggressive, but that's more of a personal preference thing. What you do get though is an extremely soft upper, a very flexible, natural sensation on feet, and just a boot that reminds me a lot of a well broken in pair of Nike Hypervenom Phantom 1s, which I think is a very good compliment. Not to mention, I happen to think that the Tekela, and this is again a personal opinion, is actually a very good looking boot, especially in this first colorway in white, all dirty. I love the look of the kinetic stitching. I love the feel of this upper. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. It has that little bit of padding to it. It's just a really well-rounded boot, and certainly the most underrated one on this top 5 list. And I'd like to give an honorable mention to the Adidas X 18.1. I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is legitimately my personal favorite boot from the Adidas brand right now, but it doesn't crack this top 5 list over the Copa 19 Plus, simply because it's not as unique of an experience. The reason why I like this so much and why it would be my pick if I had to wear one Adidas boot for an entire season is simply because, again, very, very comfortable out of the box. It is kind of reminiscent of the Tekela to a certain extent. This speed mesh upper is very soft and requires literally no break-in time at all. I absolutely love the heel liner on this boot as well. I find it to be extremely comfortable. And as far as sole plates and stud patterns go from Adidas right now, this speed frame layout with this particular stud pattern not only provides the best traction from the Adidas brand, is also nice and lightweight. Certainly the best setup as a base from anything top-end Adidas right now. And I also happen to think it's visually a very good looking boot as well. So honorable mention, if this was a top 6 list, it would be on it, and certainly not a boot that I don't know where I was going with that. They're good, you should get them if you like them. And those are my top 5 personal favorite new football boots of 2019. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Leave your opinions down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed this video and perhaps want to see more top 5s on the channel, please support this video with a like and leave your suggestions for those top 5 videos down below in the comments, and I'll do my best to make those happen. Again, if you're interested in any new releases for 2019, first link down below. Go ahead and check that out. If you're not subscribed already, be sure to hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. I screwed up, I'm gonna keep going because I don't care. All my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.